Okay, so I got the Jeep back from the body shop. Brand new tailgate on it. Looking great. But now it needs an oil change. So I figured maybe some of you guys are looking at doing your own maintenance. It's really easy to do an oil change on a Jeep. So we'll walk through the oil change on it. So of course you need oil and a filter. You'll need a 13mm wrench and a 24mm wrench. That's it. Something to catch the oil in. And since my driveway isn't flat, I pull it up onto the yard, which is a little closer to flat. So we'll do that right now. Okay, let's crawl under there. Well, hopefully you can see it, but the drain plug is right there. I'll point to it. Hopefully that's coming through on camera. Anyway, grab my 13mm and try to keep my hands from getting too oily. Try to find a good spot to set you guys. There she comes. I think this is the third or fourth oil change this Jeep has had, maybe fifth. Drain plug's starting to get a little worn out. There we go. Now let's see how much I wear. Not too bad. So if I weren't so lazy, I'd probably crawl out and do something else while this is draining. But it doesn't take long. Just lay here and stare at the underside of the engine. I should have brought a rag down here with me. Still under here waiting for it to drain. So we're down to barely a trickle. Give it about another minute or so. Then I'll thread the drain plug back in and make sure it's tightened, and we'll be done underneath. Drain plug should screw in by hand. It shouldn't be that hard to screw it in. Grab the wrench. Don't have to go crazy tight. That's plenty. Now, since I didn't bring a rag, I'll use the sleeve of my hoodie. If I can get it up that high and wipe that down, we'll crawl out and put some oil back in it. Okay, so now the hood's popped. I did grab a couple of rags. The oil filter's located right behind the alternator, right under this little plastic cap. And that's a 24mm hex on that. So I'm going to put a couple rags down to cover up and protect the alternator, and then we're going to undo that cap. Okay, that's a better fit. So just a little pressure to turn it loose there. There it goes. After a couple of turns, it should go by hand. I couldn't find an extension quickly, so I just changed to a floppy old breaker bar. Okay, now we're cooking with propane. So the filter is going to come out with this top cap, and it's going to trail oil behind it. So we're going to try and keep it on the rags here. And here we go. And there it is. That looked like it was pretty much due for an oil change. Alright, let me get the new filter. Okay, in the box you get a filter and an O-ring. You want to replace this O-ring here and stuff the filter in place of that one. And the new filter and O-ring are installed. I've lubed up the O-ring. We're going to feed it back in there. Run it in by hand as far as possible. And then we're going to tighten it down. Doesn't have to be too tight. You just want to close the gap right there and have it good and snug. Okay, so we're going to add 5 quarts of oil to this. It uses 0W20 synthetic. I don't add any additives to it. You can if you want. And then we'll try and remember how to reset the computer. Okay. Gonna top off the squirter fluid while I have the hood open, and then we'll see if we can remember how to reset the computer. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is fire it up and listen for any death rattles. And I can pull up on my center console. There's where it says oil change required. Let's see. I want to go to vehicle info. So I've got 33 pounds of oil pressure, so I'm good there. I think you have to be ignition on, engine off to reset this. We'll try hitting OK right now. Engine must be off with ignition in run. Okay, so engine off, ignition in run. Wait for it to reset. Okay, there we go. Vehicle info. OK to reset. Hold OK to reset. And there it is. It's been reset. So there you go. There's how to do an oil change on a 2020 Jeep. It's not hard at all. I'm just getting over a bad flu, and I still made it through it in about 10 minutes or so. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one.